Welcome, everyone, to Todd's World.
Wee!
Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon.
To the moon,
Because if you don't, we're
Elon.
going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow. You musty moo.
You musty moo.
Did he call him a musty moo?
I don't know. He just kind of trailed off.
What on earth?
How's it going, Carrie?
It's going great. That's such a great opening. I can't wait to explore that.
That was Representative Emmanuel Cleaver, who's a Democrat from Missouri,
Okay.
who wants Elon to go to Moscow.
Go to
You
Moscow.
dusty moo.
Musty.
Something. I don't. Let's see what he says
Elon,
again. I can't make any sense of it.
Take your musty millions and
Musty millions.
musty Moscow rights to the moon.
To the moon.
What's up with the Moscow
Because if
reference?
you don't,
I don't know what he's talking
we're
about.
going to stand up, we're going to speak out,
Uh-oh.
we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow. You musty moo.
Whoa. I
Wow.
think he started to have a seizure there at the end. You
Yeah.
must be boo, 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 boo. And then he just kind of he went over. He keeled right over.
Mitch McConnell was feeding him his lines.
Mitch McConnell's like, dude, just freeze when that happens.
Yeah, don't speak. Just stare. Exactly. Exactly.
Welcome to the U.S. Senate.
So nice.
Our best and our
That guy-
brightest.
What's up with him saying get your hands off or your musty hands off our money? It's like, whose money? It's the American people's money.
Who knows what the hell he's even talking about with
I
that
know.
CF?
Yes,
P-
see it. What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know
Because I
either.
don't even think he used the right
Oh
letters. You must move. Well, everybody know.
Maybe he's day
Tell
drinking.
them that's important for the American people.
Maybe that representative Emmanuel, whatever, maybe he was listening to Beers with Jesus and he overdid it.
You think he had a little too much wine? A little too much communion wine?
Too much communion wine.
Priest blessed the wine, and
Too much Beers with Jesus.
Representative Emmanuel Cleaver's in the back with the jug.
Polishing it off.
If one's good, 41's better. Take your musty moo moo.
I'm glad you
Wow.
found that. I have not seen that. That's hilarious. So
You know,
what's
you know what the biggest win this week? This is so indicative of what
Okay.
is going on in our world. By the way, welcome everyone. Welcome Carrie.
welcome. We're just
So
diving
happy
right in.
that everybody's here with us on the Wildly Opinionated News Hour today.
Everyone's here.
And the best thing, the absolute best thing that happened to the Democrats all week, their win, the left's win this week
They had a win?
was a snarkily written resignation letter. That's what's
Ooh.
been plastered all
Who
over.
resigned? Who resigned?
One of the prosecutors, a federal prosecutor,
Okay.
and all of this is about the mayor of New York, who is Eric Adams, was indicted by the Justice Department for something, and I can't tell you exactly what he was indicted for. Corruption of
garbage.
some sort.
I think it's garbage. I think they started going after him because he acknowledged crime in the city.
It was under Biden that this happened
Right.
because
They went
Mayor
after him.
Eric Adams had the temerity to criticize the Biden administration on the way they were handling
the immigration, I
illegals.
think. Hmm.
Right. And so so now Trump and Tom Homan,
Okay.
which would be ICE have worked out a
Yes.
deal with Eric Adams where they're willing to drop the indictment and the charges against him if he's willing to work with them to clean up New York and get the illegals out and everything else and let them come into prisons and jails and get them because it's way safer.
Okay.
What happens in these sanctuary cities is that they let out it doesn't matter what the illegals did. They let them out and then they try to make ICE just chase them around the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And ICE has said if we chase them around the streets, first of all, there's a potential for violence. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, you're going to have some border agents at some point that are going to be killed and are going to be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, or not secondly, but in addition, anybody else they find, this is the people you were wondering about, the guys who've been here for 27 years working, dropping their kids off to schools.
Oh,
Anybody else they find when they're going after these bad guys, they're picking them up too. They've already
Mm-hmm.
said that.
Well, and also they
Whereas
run the
if they
risk
let
of
them come
losing
in,
them,
if they
of
let
them
them come
being
into the
black.
prisons where they're already, it's
Yep.
it's safer for everybody. You're not picking up these people that are,
Have
it's
they
still
actually
illegal, but
imprisoned some of them though?
they've got plenty of them where they'll hold them for
Okay.
24 or 48 hours, then they'll let
Oh,
them
okay.
go.
So, I was going to say they're letting him go, but you're saying his suggestion is when you catch him for 24
Hold
hours, let
them.
us just take him.
Well, they don't want
I
to. These
love that
sanctuary
idea.
cities don't want to. They are doing
Oh,
everything they can. In fact, it's not only the sanctuary cities. It's, I mean, the Justice Department has already, they've either brought charges or they sent a letter telling Kathy Hochul
mm-hmm.
and Tish James. Tish James is the Attorney General of New York, who brought all those phony charges against Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and she is heap big mad, man.
Well,
Let
that's
me
a
tell
shame.
you what.
That's too bad.
Let's listen to Tish James. She's going to tell us what's
It's
going on.
important that individuals
Tish.
understand that we cannot allow private citizens to have access to this private information. And pausing funds for the purposes of individuals bowing to the knee of the President of the United States.
This whole data thing is so stupid. Do you realize how many people out there, how many companies, all
Mm-hmm.
these different things have all of our data? Why do you think that
Oh,
we
yeah.
get all this stuff from, Target had a data breach, right?
Right.
And your
Mm-hmm.
information may have been caught up. Here, you need to get a new debit card.
Mm-hmm.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
The idea that that an appointed, like a presidential appointment, doesn't, like the Treasury Secretary,
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have access to citizens' data is insane. The whole thing is crazy
Is
as
that what she's
hell.
saying? Like these people
Yes.
shouldn't have. Okay.
Let's see what else Tish has to say. She's real mad.
Being subjected to ideological litmus tests. Individuals who do not follow his prescriptions, his policy prescriptions. This is a democracy, a representative democracy. And it's important that individuals understand that there are co-equal branches of law that need to be respected.
Of law?
And that states,
I
again,
think she meant
have a
government.
unique responsibility to ensure that the Constitution is followed, the constitutional order of things here in this great country. And so that's why we are standing up. We're defending the Constitution. We took an oath to the Constitution.
She took an oath.
Not to a man.
Good.
Tish could use to
But
eat
to
a few
the
Not to a man.
salads.
And let me just say to the brave soldiers, the
Soldiers.
amazing individuals at the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassone, she's a profile in courage.
They have soldiers at the Southern District of New York. Who knew? I thought it was just
Okay.
a bunch of FBI agents.
I just love all these Democrats suddenly standing up for the Constitution. It's very
Oh.
encouraging.
Tish never meant a constitution she didn't like. She was one of the ones that they brought charges against.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of part of what we're dealing with here. This is Maxine of Waters. She is a Democrat.
She's in DC, right?
Yeah.
She's like a DC.
Maxine of Waters. I can't remember if she's a senator or a representative. She's been there for
She's a representative.
4,000 years, so it seems like she would be a senator by now. Like, usually once they hit like 90 and they're wheeling them around in like bedpans. They're in the Senate.
She's a
She's a rep.
representative. Uh-huh. Oh, sorry, California.
I knew she was in California.
I thought she was in DC. Yeah, California's 43rd district.
Let me tell you what.
She is 86 years old, by the way.
There is no Halloween mask that has yet been created that would be as frightening as Maxine Waters' face. If
Now,
that
be
was a
kind.
mask.
She is an elderly woman, Todd. You need to be kind.
I don't know if I do. I mean, really. She could save us all a lot just by retiring.
Right. What'd she say?
Let's hear what Maxine of Waters has to
Musk
say.
comes knocking at the Fed's door. You gonna let him in?
I don't have anything for you on that.
What she said was when Elon Musk comes knocking at the Fed's door. So she's talking to Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she has to say. She's real worried about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
They're all real worried about Elon
I know.
Musk.
They're very
Musk
worried
comes
about him.
knocking at the Fed's door. You gonna let him in?
I don't have anything for you on that.
Would you like to tell us today that you won't let DOGE into the Federal Reserve or have access to the systems and the data?
So I don't have any, we've had no contact, and I don't really have, I have nothing for you to report today on that.
Well, you know what happened at Treasury, and you know what happened
Whoops.
over at the CFPB, and the people of this
God.
country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us, our bank accounts.
She just said it. She just said the quiet part out loud. We don't know what they have on us.
So I found out what the CFPB is.
What is it?
It
Consumer
is,
Financial
yes.
Protection Bureau. Is that right?
I lost it. Something like that.
Are
Yes,
you telling me that
Consumer-
Representative Emmanuel Cleaver actually got out the right letters? Because after Musty Moo Moo, I just can't believe it.
Well, I don't know
in
that
the
he did.
midst of a stroke,
Consumer
he
Financial
got the
Protection.
right letters out.
I just thought I just heard CF blah 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 blah. Musty Moo Moo.
So Maxine Waters says, we don't know what they have on us. We're scared to death out here.
Wow. Yeah, she should be. Oh my gosh, California is like a cesspool of financial corruption.
Well, let me tell you, you know what's going on in Washington, D.C., or the suburbs, the surrounding areas of Washington, D.C.?
Okay.
They are seeing an unbelievable amount of listings in the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
Houses
really?
are being listed everywhere because people are getting fired everywhere.
Wow.
Welcome to America. Make
I wonder what
America
that will
great
do
again.
Wonder what that will do to the housing market there.
I don't know. It's one of the those zip codes are the most expensive real estate in the country, which makes perfect sense, right? Public servants.
Well, I know.
As we've learned,
They're millionaires.
we don't know what they have on us.
Can't believe
Why do
she
you think
said
I
that.
got to go out in public in this Halloween mask? I'm a U.S. representative. I shouldn't be treated like this. It's a horror movie.
Oh my gosh. Wild.
It's crazy what's going on. Have you been paying attention? I know you had a busy week.
I had a busy week. I only know about the confirmations this week because I've gotten really nice
Oh wow, you
updates
did
on
have
that.
That's all you know about?
That and that DOGE showed up at the IRS.
They did.
Like
Trump's
that's
talking about firing 9,000 IRS agents.
Wow.
I mean, it's just wonderful everywhere.
Right.
The other thing, this was great too. Elon talking about what they're going to look into.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million?
Right.
Etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
While they are in
only
position,
in Washington.
Which is,
Dave Ramsey's got nothing on
what
those
happened
people.
to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just they seem to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it.
Obviously.
So, we're looking at, we just.
It's beautiful. I just don't understand how
everything
these
we've
people...
always wanted.
I know, but I just can't believe that these people have gotten away with this as long as they have, because you think about how many people have to be working around that. Not everybody's getting paid off that way. You'd think that they would start eating their own, throwing each other under the bus, or,
I don't think that, well, I don't think you, I don't think any of us, other than perhaps Trump and Elon at this point, have any idea the scale of what we're talking about. I mean, honestly. So here's what happens. Here's the scam for people, just to kind of put it all together. You know what I mean? By the way, oh God, I just saw. Are we recording?
Oh shoot! I think you hit yes.
You know what I love, by the way, before I get into this. Don't worry, I'm a highly trained broadcast specialist. I'll be back.
I know.
I'll come right back where I left off.
You're rocking it, Todd.
So this week, we've been putting the video episodes out. I've been putting them on X and Spotify. I need to figure out how to get them on Apple.
Okay.
But and then of course on Substack and everything, you've got the regular audio episodes are out.
Yeah.
And so, but with the video episode, so I'm telling Nikki, I'm like, you should watch us. We've got Spotify on our smart TV, and we don't have that smart of a TV. Probably lots of people have this. This is like we have.
Yeah, I don't think
TVs.
we have that.
But we have Spotify, and it's hooked to my account. So I got into Spotify, and I click on it. First thing that comes up is Todd's World.
Really?
And so
Okay.
I click Wildly Opinionated News Hour.
Oh no!
And then,
were you watching us
boom,
huge in your living room?
big as life on the TV are Todd and Carrie. And I'm like, holy shit, the font for Todd's World and the Wildly Opinionated News Hour look huge on here.
Oh my gosh. No.
And I thought, this is fabulous, but I'm not sure that I can be allowed to eat meat sticks on live video anymore.
Because you were eating while we were. You were eating while we were.
Nikki's like, I can't believe you're eating that meat stick. I was like, it reminds me of Rush back when he'd be smoking cigars.
Right.
And smoking's okay. That's okay. I'm just not sure eating a meat stick's okay. I think people, we start talking about Barack Obama and Big Mike, and people get the wrong idea. I think
True.
where we're coming from.
You have to really be careful
what'd you say about that
the timing of the meat stick consumption.
And I'm all like, don't mind me.
Is that a meat stick in your mouth?
Just happy to see you.
So, oh my gosh, so that's huge. How'd we look?
It's
enormous?
Great. We looked
look
amazing.
Okay? That's
I mean, I keep people notice that I'm trying to deal with my lighting situation and get things.
The light looks good right now.
Yeah, it's better. I'm getting there.
I'm just
You're
in
okay.
this. I'm
you
just
got
in
a
this
nice
room.
bright thing going on.
It's just a window. That's all it is.
Once we double the CNN audience, and we can start putting some money into sets.
Okay.
Right now.
Sets.
Right now we're bouncing around with Caitlin Collin.
Here in my studio, where I have my beautiful artwork and a nice bright window. That's all we got.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. This is Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin Collins is a news anchor or reporter or whatever for CNN.
Okay.
Which means that almost no one listens to her. But she thinks she's important.
I'm going to look at her face.
Do you want me to share it? You want me to put it on? I can share the video.
If it's like an especially good video.
I don't know if it's especially
good.
Oh,
then don't worry. I just wanted to look up her. I want to look up her face. Oh, yeah, I know her.
Yeah, you know Caitlin Collins.
Was she one of the Was she one of the debate moderators a long time ago or no?
I could be. I don't know.
That might not be her. Anyway,
I can't keep track. But this is
it's fine.
she's she's bothered. And this
Is
was
she?
in addition to the resignation letter, where the guy's snarky line was basically, "You may find someone weak enough or foolish enough to drop these indictments, but it won't be me." And oh my word, there was gorebasms all over the Democrat land. They were like, "This is the greatest resignation line I've ever seen.
What a burn.
Look at them go. We just resigned. We taught them."
I wish they would all just resign.
That's what they've become.
Yeah.
They've become. What happened this week? What are you excited about? Man, did you see that resignation letter? Holy shit, we got them. What?
Burn.
What is going on? Here's Caitlin Collins.
We are 3 weeks into the second Trump presidency, 3 weeks, and tonight there are warnings that the U.S. is dangerously close to a constitutional crisis.
Dangerously close.
Dropped when a federal judge today said the White House is defying his order to unfreeze billions of dollars in federal aid, marking the first time that we've had a judge expressly accuse the Trump administration of ignoring a court ruling. In a separate case today, federal employees here in Washington told a judge that the administration was defying another order.
Another one!
Reinstating workers who had been put on leave.
He's defying
this
orders.
All has prominent Democrats and many of the nation's top constitutional scholars declaring that the U.S. is on the brink of a reckoning. The Trump Justice Department says the president should have the authority to decide how to run the government and that these judges are overreaching. And some of the president's allies say the judges should not be judging any of the moves to shrink the federal government.
We are dangerously close to a constitutional crisis. Dangerously close.
She hasn't felt we were dangerously close to constitutional crises the past 4 years.
Letting in 20 million illegal aliens to rape and murder and pillage, that's fine. But
sending all of our tax dollars to foreign countries.
But there was some unelected bloke, a Muslim bloke who was originally from Canada, who somehow got to be a federal judge, and he thinks he should be in charge of what Donald Trump can do and what he can't do as an elected
who's this
president.
guy?
I can't remember his name.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, there's one of them. One of them's a.
He's not even a U.S. citizen.
Well, he's naturalized. He was originally a Canadian citizen. He was originally from our 51st state, Governor Trudeau. Have you seen that? Holy cow! They asked him, and they asked Trump about Canada again. Of course, they keep asking him, and he called him Governor Trudeau.
Yeah, he has called him that for a couple of weeks.
I just love it. I love it.
So this judge is from Canada.
One of them is, yeah, but there's a bunch of them. Okay. And if they're not, one of the judges who tried to tell them what they're trying to do is they're saying you can't have any of the data. And here's what happened. There was the way that Trump and Elon did DOGE. They basically retrofitted an existing Obama agency. So Obama set up this IT department, and it was originally to deal with Obamacare. Because remember when Obamacare came out of the gate, it was a disaster.
Yes.
Like the sites are going down, nothing works, everything's a nightmare. So he set up this entire, via executive order, he set up this entire accounting or IT department. So they were fully funded. They have access to every system, IT system within the federal government, within any of the agencies. And all Trump did,
because our health care needed that.
Yeah, and all Trump did was retrofit that, fire everybody in it, and put Elon there, and it's fully funded. So the problem they have is that this is like it's a bulletproof way of doing this. So these judges have decided, screw Trump, we're going to tell him what to do. It doesn't matter, because their hope is that if they put these orders on, it's going to take them 6 months to get someplace where they can finally pull them off. And Trump's answer is, screw you, we're just going to keep going, which happens to be exactly what Andrew Jackson did. Remember Andrew Jackson?
What'd you
He
do?
did it multiple times. But if you remember, John Marshall at the time was this was probably in the 1830s or 40s, was
Okay.
the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah, we talked
And
about this
Andrew
once.
Jackson decided that the Indians needed to be removed, the infamous Trail
Yep.
of Tears. And the Supreme Court told him he could not remove the Indians. And Andrew Jackson said, well, John Marshall's made his decision, let him enforce it. Because, the courts don't have an army and they don't have the
Right.
power of the purse. In fact, the framers, the founders of America considered the judiciary to be the weakest of our branches of government
I was going to
because
say
they
they're
had
only
no way to enforce anything.
they're only as strong as the other branches' respect for their decisions.
Right. So
Yikes.
we are
It's
not
pretty
going
disrespectful of Andrew Jackson.
we are not going to let unelected people in black robes basically try to slow down or take down what all of the people elected Trump to do, which is exactly what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared to death. And a lot of these judges, I told you about the one guy from Canada, but this other guy, his wife is the president of one of these NGOs that are getting unfunded, that he's judicially ordering that all the funds must be back. There's just that's where you're going to see all the deep state stuff is it's going to be in the courts because they don't have anything else. I mean,
wow.
You Emmanuel Cleaver can get out there but he can't really, you know what I mean? There's nothing there. He can't. And so everything they're gonna do is
you mustard moo.
It almost sounds like he says mustard, which just cracks me up.
You mustard moo moo.
Oh, go to mouth.
Man, he keeps freezing up.
You mustard moo.
He gets so excited that like the internet, the World Wide Web can't even keep up.
Does he have access to the World Wide Web?
Imagine.
I'm concerned about this future, the courts. You said this is all going to be fought out in the courts. That worries me because I feel like people like George Soros has his hands.
Well, but Trump's going to ignore the courts. So now he's still going to fight it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying
because we still need to win the battles. But
Okay.
he's going to ignore all the holds that they put on it.
Yeah.
Now, once it got to the Supreme Court, if there was a ruling that went differently, would he ignore? He might. I don't know. Andrew Jackson didn't.
I hope Trump would.
Andrew Jackson's not the only one. I've told you about some of the things that Lincoln did.
I was going to say, you said Lincoln did a bunch of stuff too.
And Lincoln's not the only one. FDR, if you dug into that, you'd be like, this dude was crazy. He did whatever he wanted all the time for 4 terms.
Wow.
Or 3.5 till he died.
Right. It's so funny too because everyone looks at he's like beloved, He's one of the presidents like everyone.
I'm not saying that FDR, I'm not saying he's bad per se. I'm just saying this struggle between executive authority and congressional authority and judicial authority, this is not a new thing. This has been from the beginning.
All right.
But then in this situation, you have you have the leaders of both houses of Congress. You got Mike Johnson and John Thune, and both of them are coming out. The leadership is coming out completely in support of the executive branch. So you have the executive and the legislative branch together on this. One would think that might make the courts back down, but that's not how the courts think.
Interesting.
And so that you're going to see this continue. But that does give the fact that he has the legislative branch backing him as well. That kind of gives Trump even more, even more kind of cushion there to work with whatever he wants. Besides the fact his election was so resounding. They just came out. Axios just came out with a poll.
Okay.
And it was in Arizona, and it was swing state. And it was swing voters or whatever in Arizona. And they asked him how many, and they were trying to figure out who approves of what Trump's doing. You know how many swing voters in Arizona approved of what Trump's doing? 100%. I swear to God, I clicked off the poll and I thought, I'm not even going to talk about that because I can't be right. And then I saw it referenced over and over again, and I realized this is a real poll. This really came out. When I first saw it, I didn't believe it. because
That's
I'd never
crazy.
seen anything like it.
So, Todd, question about the polling and about these states. You said it was we feel like it was a resounding win. win. However, weeks later, they were like, we're still counting, and it doesn't look like Trump's going to hold on to the popular vote. And then I just never heard anything. Did they ever finish
Well,
counting?
California just finished. Trump just dropped a tweet on that this week, I think. It was either this week or last, but I think it was this week, beginning of this week. And he's like, California just finally finished counting their
It's like
elections.
3 months ago.
This is insane.
They just finished counting.
Yeah. So, yeah, they did. They just finished counting. But somehow, Trump still won.
It probably is hard to get the votes from all the people living in tents on the sidewalks throughout the cities in California. Probably takes a while.
I don't even think they're trying. They need some help in California. They need Tish James, I think. This is kind of fun. This is
switch coasts.
I am going to get back to what I was going to tell you about.
Okay,
what's going
I was going
to
say we were talking
Don't
about
worry, I
Adams,
haven't forgotten
New York.
that.
Oh, that's right.
Let me tell you what's going on with these.
This is quite a wide tangent. Go
with
ahead.
the Washington D.C. stuff and just this entire web of corruption. So what happens is if you're in the D.C. elites, or if you want to get in the D.C. elites, the way that you do that is you go to one of the elite schools. You go to Yale, you go to Harvard, you go to Princeton, whatever. Some elite school, right? There's other ones that I'm not thinking of right now. But point is, you go to the Georgetown, go to these elite schools. And then you find, let's say you're a guy, you find a chick. Well, unless you swing the other way. If you're lucky enough to be Barack Obama and you can find a guy that you really like to dress up like a chick. But you find a chick and you both, maybe you're going for law degrees, maybe you're going for whatever the degree du jour is that everybody's into that day. And then you get into one of these non-governmental organizations, or you get into you work somewhere in the government, you start working your way up. But once you both get into these non-governmental organizations, you can have a husband and a wife. Maybe one's running one's running another. They're both making about $500,000 a year. So not only are they living like billionaires, because they are flying first, all their travel. And one of the things as they're combing through all these NGOs, these non-governmental organizations, is the travel costs are like 40% of all costs. Because none of these bitches are flying economy. I can tell you that.
Wow.
So all of the travel costs are paid for by the U.S. government.
Okay.
By U.S. taxpayers.
So why? Okay. What's a non-governmental organization? Like, give me an example.
An NGO.
Yeah.
So basically what they do is USAID is set up, USAID is set up by an executive order by Kennedy, and that is funded with $50 billion, right? Theoretically in foreign aid, whatever. But it's way more than that. Then you get all these little NGOs, and they're non-governmental organizations, so they're not controlled by the government, but they're getting their funding from all these other governmental organizations. But because they're not technically under the governmental umbrella, they can do whatever they want. So USAID takes it, they funnels it to an NGO who then takes and gives $20 million to Uganda for abortions or whatever it is.
Right.
The point is, it's spreading leftist propaganda.
The Sesame Street in Iraq or whatever.
Yes. But so these people get in these things, and what Trump has done that has caused them to squeal like stuck pigs is he's cut off the funding and he's cut off the parent organizations. And they've been planning this for 4 years. I mean, he's going in and there's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing they can do other than have these judges try to tell him to halt with a court order. And then when Trump doesn't do it, then the judge says something more sternly. I really meant it. I really meant it, President Trump. You gotta listen to me.
I derailed you. So you're talking about a couple hooking up in law school or whatever, working at two different
This is the track.
non-governmental
this is the elite track.
Organizations. Yep. Okay.
And they basically, this is our version of UK royalty. You understand what I'm saying? Where it's filtered all over. You got all these little noblemen and all these little whatever. It's everywhere. But they're part of the nobility of the United States.
Okay.
They don't really do all that much, but that doesn't matter because they go to the right cocktail parties and they're supporting the right causes.
I was going to say it's the causes they're supporting. And they're probably doing the bidding of whoever is.
Right.
Okay.
And they don't want, it's not, let me tell you what, it's not your data. It's not your Visa card. It's not your Social Security. Somebody out there who's making 80 grand a year, working hard as an electrician or whatever else. If you think that Democrat Representative Emmanuel Cleavers cares about Elon Musk having access to your information, you're crazy. You know the data they don't want him to have? The data that shows all the corruption and all the money, and the fact that by the time we get to the end of this, there could be $30 trillion that's in our national debt. That all that did was line pockets. All that was legalized. I think
that's exactly what it's done. Yeah.
So
hey, you know how I'm always saying taxation is theft? It really is going to be proved to be true.
100%. Oh, yep. I think at least half the budget will be proven to be theft.
So unreal.
And so that's been kind of the grift, as they call it in Washington D.C. This is how it works.
Like these people, let's say this hypothetical couple. Do you think they know it, or do they get into that, kind of fall into it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is great"?
Oh, I think they think it's great, but I think
you think they're kind of recruited?
They were convinced that the maze of everything was so much, and it was to the standpoint that these congressional oversight committees could never really get a hold on it. They just weren't set up for it.
Right.
You needed somebody like Elon and DOGE and his team who could go in, and they're basically getting into the payment system because at some point when payments are made, they have to be recorded as something somehow. Right. You know what I mean? And that's the fastest way to find the corruption and the grift, and that's exactly what they're doing.
This crazy list, every now and then we hear we were just talking about, abortions in Uganda or Sesame Street in Iraq and stuff like that, like these wild price tags on these really unusual, they almost sound like they're made up.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder if they are made up and that money is just going to these people you're talking about, the elites, and that someone is just, being funny and saying, hey, let's on this line, let's put,
and if you think they're doing $20 million worth of abortions in Uganda with $20 million, no, they're doing like $50,000 worth of abortions.
Mm-hmm.
All of that money is greasing palms everywhere in Uganda here. Everybody who touches it all along the way, they're pocketing it. It really isn't any different. If you watch The Sopranos, it's The Sopranos. Except not as honest as The Sopranos. Tony Soprano was pretty straight up.
Yeah, pretty much.
You knew what you were dealing with. And they have tried to cloak it in all of this
foreign aid,
good deeds, and
right,
liberal bleeding hearts. We have to help the children.
It's tough.
Take your musty moo-moo. He's real mad.
It's for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to mouth.
Now, do you think that Elon has his musty hands on the money? I don't think so. See, I think the musty hands on the money are all the Democrats. Yeah. It's Emmanuel Cleaver, who I'm pretty sure has some musty dollar bills in his freezer somewhere.
I have a feeling that's true. I know, it's really funny. Again, we've seen this now for so many years. Every time the Democrats spew these accusations at other people, it's really what they're guilty of themselves. And it's just funny. The whole like our money, and he's pretending to care about the people's money, but it's really his own. He's pretending to care about the people's data protection, but it's really, he doesn't want his own revealed, his own
100%
business dealings revealed. So it's laughable. Does everyone get it? Is everyone getting it, Todd?
It's
100% of swing voters in Arizona.
Yeah, I don't think everybody is, because I still see close immediate family members of my own that post the dumbest shit you could ever imagine online.
What is up with the Elon hate? The intense Elon hate.
Well, I will say
one thing. Love this guy.
One thing that one thing that it seems like a stroke of brilliance by Trump is that he has basically subcontracted all of the left's hate onto Elon.
I know. I feel kind of bad. All of a sudden, I'm worried for Elon's safety.
He's taking all the slings and all the arrows.
It's so crazy.
Trump's just
but
we're
Todd,
just going.
like, all these people used to love Elon Musk. They used to call him this like brilliant innovator, and
All these people used to love Donald Trump.
I know.
He's been flooded by so much hate that it's hard for us to go back 10 years and remember that for 40 years before that, everybody loved Trump. Everybody
loved him. Yep. Oprah loved him.
Oh my God, everybody loved him.
Oprah wanted him to run for president.
I know.
Thanks, Oprah.
This is our good buddy and pal, James Carville.
Oh, yes.
Do you believe in space aliens?
Is he wearing some LSU gear in this video?
I don't know that he's real frustrated. So let's hear what he has to say.
He's frustrated with Democrats.
Don't forget Rod Blagojevich. Trump is a criminal. Criminals like to be around other criminals.
And a mob boss.
Yeah. Bannon is right. We are flooded in shit. And we are searching for a way to deal with this. These are extraordinarily difficult times.
Extraordinarily.
And he just keeps moving with one stupid thing after another. Maybe some of our I'm struggling here a little bit.
I'm struggling.
Really
to make a point. What's he saying?
Can help us untangle a little bit. It's really tangled now because no one knows where to land. It's all too incomprehensible. We're getting overwhelmed.
That's what you were saying last week.
Thought that would kill a political career, that would be poisonous for whatever reason. This guy keeps chugging along.
They're just overwhelmed. Everything we kill a Republican president with, we can't do it. What is going on? This guy keeps chugging along. Did you hear the latest thing that Trump? I had a clip on this, but it's one of those weird ones where it didn't come through for whatever reason. But Trump has there's the Oval Office, and then I guess there's this area outside that's called like the Outer Oval, and
it's like the antique.
So there's video of Trump, and I think he's with the Prime Minister of India, Modi.
Okay.
They're talking, they're doing whatever. But when they pan over and they look right over Susie Wiles, which is Trump's chief of staff's shoulder, there's a framed photo of the New York Post of Trump's mugshot. Everybody who walks into the Oval Office, they get to stare right at that mugshot.
I love it. I love it.
It's amazing. And I think it was Caitlin Collins crying about that too. And it was great, but it didn't.
Oh, really?
I don't know what happened to it.
She's just fussing about it. So James, what'd you say his name is? Carville?
James Carville.
Carville.
He's just getting overrun. We're just getting overrun.
Overrun, like
we're flooded in shit. That's what you want to hear it again?
No, it's just hard to hear. So I'm listening, and it just
I'm going to turn it up. But listen, when I turn this up, all the way, if you're going to comment or I'm going to comment, we got to be back further because
got it.
The clip is so quiet that it throws us off. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yep.
So let's listen one more time. I'm going to turn them all the way up.
Don't forget Rod Blagojevich. Trump is a criminal.
Trump is a criminal.
Criminals like to be around other criminals.
Yeah. A mob boss.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Bannon is right. We are flooded in shit. And we are searching for a way to deal with this. These are extraordinarily difficult times.
He does have an LSU hat on.
He just keeps moving with one stupid thing after another. Maybe some of our I'm struggling here a little bit.
He seems like he's about ready to cry.
Smart viewers.
He sounds like
help us untangle a little bit. It's really tangled now because no one knows where to land. It's all too incomprehensible.
It's all so incomprehensible.
And things that we thought that would kill a political career, that would be poisonous for whatever reason, this guy keeps trugging along.
This guy's like Superman. Okay, I got to turn back down. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
There's some of those clips where they're so quiet that I have to turn the sound up so much. And then if we talk, it's like, boom, we're like the voice of God, which is as it should be.
What? So,
But,
well, so he's just saying the Democrats are overwhelmed.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're overwhelmed because,
He's
like you said
replying
last
to
week.
Steve Bannon on War Room,
Okay.
who has, he was one of Trump's senior advisors last time around. And Steve Bannon's a good guy. In fact, I think I have some clips of him, but I don't know if we'll get to him. But he's just saying, yeah, Trump's flooding the zone, which is what we talked about.
Yep.
Right?
That's what you were saying last week. He's going after everything all at once, and they
just
don't even know
where they don't even know what to respond to.
Right. Which
I mean,
is
that's why you got Emmanuel Cleaver out there. Hey, go muster hands off our money. I'm like he's in Selma.
I know, I'm like he's got a future in Southern Baptist preaching.
That's probably where he came from. So here's something I want to read, and I am going to tell people this. This is an article, and it's written by EKO, EKO on Twitter. Okay, I don't believe that this person. At first when I read it, I thought that they were part of that DOGE team. But I don't think that's what happened. I think that I think somehow this person is doing maybe a creative writing article with some information from Doge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually like it. That's the kind of thing that I enjoy doing a lot of myself. But I think that Eco paints a really good picture of what went on and what started all this. And I really feel like people, and if I, I've reposted or whatever, but a lot of people just don't read as much as, you know what I mean? They'll watch clips or they'll do whatever. But when it comes to actually reading something that's quasi long form, that's just not exactly their deal anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, our attention spans are pretty short, and sometimes it's like, I mean, so you send me stuff and it's like, oh, okay, I can't read that now, but I'm going to read it later. But then, you get busy and you send other things or whatever. Like I try to keep up here. But this one, I did want to read this. You said it was really well written. Are you going to read
I don't know that I'll read the whole thing, but I'm going to give people a little flavor for it.
Yeah.
And then if they want to go to X and read it, they'll be able to find it easily.
Yeah. I would read an excerpt of this.
It's Eco, and it's Override Inside the Revolution, Rewiring American Power. And Eco, this same account has written more since then throughout this week that have been pretty good. But I really thought this one was I just thought it gave you a good picture of what's going on.
Also, Eco's username is Eco Loves You. Just so you can distinguish. But yeah, it's capital E, capital A, capital E, capital K, capital O.
Yeah, then you're right. It is Eco Loves You. So whoever this is, whatever it is, I thought that they did a good job on this. We'll read a little bit of it. So, in Treasury's basement, let me make sure that I'm at. Okay. The clock. Okay, let's start here. The clock struck 2 a.m. on January 21st, 2025. So that's the day after Trump's inauguration, right? 2 a.m.
hours. Yes.
2 a.m. in the morning. In Treasury's basement, fluorescent lights hummed above 4 young coders. Their screens cast blue light across government-issued desks, illuminating energy drink cans and agency badges. As their algorithms crawled through decades of payment data, one number kept growing: 17 billion in redundant programs and counting. We're in, Akash Baba messaged the team, all of it. Edward Korstein's code had already mapped 3 subsystems. Luke Ferreter's algorithms were tracing payment flows across agencies. Ethan Chatran's analysis revealed patterns that career officials didn't even know existed. By dawn, they would understand more about Treasury's operations than people who had worked there for decades. This wasn't a hack. This wasn't a breach. This was authorized disruption. While career bureaucrats prepared orientation packets and welcome memos, DOGE's team was already deep inside the payment systems. No committees, no approvals, no red tape. Just 4 coders with unprecedented access and algorithms ready to run. The beautiful thing about payment systems, noted a transition official watching their screens, is that they don't lie. You can spin policy all day long, but money leaves a trail. The trail led to staggering discoveries. Programs marked as independent revealed coordinating funding streams. Grants labeled as humanitarian aid showed curious detours through complex networks. That's what I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
Black budgets, once shrouded in secrecy, began to unravel under algorithmic scrutiny. By 6 a.m., Treasury's career officials began arriving for work. They found their systems they thought impenetrable already mapped. Networks they had believed hidden already exposed. Power structures built over decades revealed in hours. Their traditional defenses, slow-walking decisions, leaking damaging stories, stonewalling requests, proved useless against an opponent moving faster than their systems could react. By the time they drafted their first memo objecting to this breach, 3 more systems had already been mapped. Pull this thread, a senior official warned, watching patterns emerge across DOGE's screens, and the whole sweater unravels. He wasn't wrong, but he misunderstood something crucial. That was exactly the point. This wasn't just another transition. This wasn't just another reform effort. This was the start of something unprecedented. A revolution powered by preparation, presidential will, and technological precision. The storm had arrived, and Treasury was just the beginning. Isn't that so good?
It's so good. I feel like you wrote this.
I know.
This is your writing style.
There's not many things
sure.
I read that I'm like, man, this is so good.
It's so good, and it really sounds like you. It sounds like you writing in insurrection.
I know, and I think that people, you should go read this again. It's at Eco Loves You on X. Override Inside the Revolution: Rewiring American Power. And they've written some other ones since that are good. The very end of this thing is pretty good too. I'm going to skip right to the end. It says, this isn't the end of the story. This is just the beginning. The revolution isn't just continuing. It's becoming the new normal. And for those who thought the deep state would rule forever, they're about to learn what happens when smart, strategic minds meet determination. When preparation meets opportunity. When a new generation decides it's time for change. The storm isn't just gathering, it's here to stay. The sun continues rising over Washington, but now, for the first time in generations, it illuminates something new. A government that works, a bureaucracy that serves, a system that delivers. The revolution isn't just beginning, it's already won. Isn't that so good?
So good. It's what we all want.
I felt like that.
It's what we all deserve.
In the reading the whole thing, you really get a feel for it, but you get a good feel for what's going on in those wee hours that starts everything, and all of a sudden, that's what's happening. So when you see this Democrat freak out going on out there, and it's not just Democrats, there's a few Republicans too, although it's mostly Democrats. I will say, for as much as we think the corruption is the uniparty on both sides, and I'm sure it is to some standpoint, especially when you got the turtle who just freezes.
Now he's getting wheeled around. He got wheeled in just to vote against Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah, why wouldn't he, right?
Bastard.
So, but most of it's Democrats.
Yeah.
And they're finding everything. And so here's what's going to happen is DOGE is going to be, Trump has said this, they're going to be crazy transparent. Everything they find, the American people are going to learn. And the Democrats know prison's possible for a lot of these people. I think once we discover, but I actually think that's like a good end for them, because I think what could happen as this gets exposed, as the depth and the level and the scale of the corruption becomes apparent. I mean, certainly we've seen societies not necessarily unravel, but this is the kind of thing that causes, you've got 320 million people out there that have been taxed for that their money's been stolen to do this kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that causes mobs to form,
revolts,
and they show up at people's houses and they drag them out of their house and they string them up on trees like an insurrection. No, I'm just saying this is the kind that because that kind of anger, when you see how much you have been lied to and built, like courts and prison don't seem like enough. You know what I mean?
Well, I did see someone speculating about money being paid back to taxpayers, and I'm like, hell yes. Can you imagine? Where? I don't know, maybe from these people. I don't know from where, but I'm like, I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we could see, I think it's reasonable to think that we could see if not a wholesale write-off, a massive write-down of our national debt. I mean, we're just not going to, I can't imagine, I'm not going to pay. If somebody told me you're going to pay $36 trillion for all these people and what they've done over the last 40 years, F them.
Yeah, 100%.
F all of you. That's what I would think. No, that's not how this is going to work, buddy. You can take your musty hands and your musty Moscow moo money and go over there on your own if you want.
Off of my money. Get your musty hands.
But I mean, we're living in wild times. It really, I keep saying it because I just don't know if people quite get it, but these are consequential times that we're living in. You know what I mean?
They are. I'm excited about it.
It really is exciting.
The fact that everyone on this dream team is getting confirmed.
Yeah, let's talk about confirmations. That's the only thing you knew that happened this week.
No, I'm just excited about it. No, it's fine. I'm excited about it. I just feel like...
No, it's amazing that this much has been going on and he hasn't had his whole team. He hasn't had Bobby Kennedy.
I know.
He hasn't had Tulsi.
Oh
Cash, I still don't know if Cash is confirmed it. He's not yet, is he?
He is.
Cash got confirmed?
I thought
Did I miss that? He might have, maybe. I know he got moved out from, like, they have to go through like one of the subcommittees. Like they have to be voted out of the subcommittee.
Oh, okay.
I know that happened, but I didn't know if he was actually confirmed.
He's headed, headed for the vote. It's not done yet. Okay, sorry. But just the fact that that it's happening. You know, we kind of thought we might not get them all.
Oh, it's like amazing. Trump is
one after another, like victorious dominoes.
This is what winning feels like. So much winning.
Yes.
I'm excited about Tulsi.
I am too.
Bobby Kennedy's going to come in and already talking about like firing 8,000 people and starting an actual vaccine, checking into vaccines. Let's see if they work. Let's see what causes autism. Why wouldn't we want to know? I'm not, you know, every time he talks about it, he gets his family. They drag out Carolyn Kennedy, who looks like she's 107.
Oh my gosh.
Just surrounded by piles of big pharma money, wiping her nose with it while she talks. And she's like, he's horrible. He's going to kill everybody. Okay, Caroline. Whatever you say, honey.
Calm down. Oh yeah, there's in Kentucky. In Kentucky, they're trying to they're proposing, well, they're advancing bills to like stop the COVID, the boosters, the mRNA boosters. They're talking about limiting blood donations from vaccinated
We'll see how
people.
that goes.
Well, just
you know what Kentucky has that's so weird?
What?
Kentucky has a Democrat governor. And I mean, he was just reelected like 2 years ago.
Huh.
It's the strangest thing because Kentucky is so red.
Right.
And they've got Mitch McConnell as a senator and they've got a Democrat governor. It's so strange.
That is really interesting. Yeah, that is odd.
Oh, it's so weird.
I wonder if their governor is just the best choice they have.
I don't think so. But he got in, so But yeah, the reason I say we'll see what happens is, I expect he'll probably veto a lot of that. Because he's not like, it's not like he's a red state Democrat governor who's, he's kind of in the middle. He's not like that at all. He's a leftist. And why he is Kentucky's governor, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. He must,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Maybe they feel like just because, maybe they feel like he's just done a really good job for Kentucky, regardless of the letter next to his name, which, fine. Like, I don't even care about the letters anymore. I don't care about your party affiliation.
Yeah, but he hasn't. I mean, he was there during COVID and he had shutdowns and the whole thing. And Tennessee didn't.
But okay. I was going to say almost everybody did.
I mean, it was like a clear difference between Tennessee and Kentucky. So,
but this vaccine, we talked about it before, this vaccination issue blurs party lines. It's not, it doesn't.
True.
It blurs party lines. And I think that people, just like the healthy food, healthy vaccinations, healthy food, I think that there are going to be people on both sides of the aisle who are like, yeah, that's not a partisan issue.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're looking at the research right now and they're looking at all the damage to, all the issues they're having with people's hearts, the heart conditions and as they're connecting this to the vaccine. So
of course,
Kentucky is finally, or is the most recent to join the ranks of those saying no more.
The fact that Trump has the team he has, the fact that that they all went through confirmation, and really, you never really saw Trump break a sweat about him. He barely talked about, he didn't have to, at least not for the public consumption. He wasn't calling out senators and everything else. There may have been a little bit of arm twisting behind the scenes, but nothing that we've heard about or know about.
Is it just me not watching the news, or is Trump not out front and center on everything right now?
Well, I mean,
it just
depends. Busy? He's letting Elon take a lot of slings and arrows, and really all his cabinet people. I mean, he's letting them do their thing, but still, I mean, there's not a day that goes by that there aren't 6 or 7 clips of Trump circulating on X.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So I just haven't been watching.
Yeah. Now, whether or not that's making it to whatever.
Back into the swing.
Maybe that's not making it to cable news. You know what I mean? Maybe that's getting lost in some other things. I don't know.
But I haven't been watching. I just haven't been watching the news.
Yeah.
I'm in such a weird. Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
I'll get back.
You're getting through it. Oh, you come here to the Wildly Opinionated. I actually think it works because you kind of you represent our audience. I feel like a little bit like you pay attention some and you have some things, but at the same time, a lot of the things that I'm bringing up to you, you react to. I think like our audience does. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. But I like that. I think that
I like to be more
works.
informed generally. I don't like coming in blind, but that's just where I am. So
this is Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, I want to hear some of Joe. While you're pulling that up,
you want to take a break? You need a break?
No, I think we need to. I think this is probably like our last thing, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
But I just want to say before you do that, I'm also so excited and surprised by the influential position that Joe Rogan has found himself in.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It really is, because and this is what he's going to talk about, because what this clip is about is how the left is talking about how they need a Joe Rogan on the left, which is so stupid because they already had him.
I know.
And so I think that's what this clip is about. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Okay.
That's right. Because there is that thought that, like, this is one of the things that comes up now all the time. And we talked about this on CNN. We're saying that there's a whole financed and backed right-wing ecosystem that's created these podcasts.
Where's my check?
Well, this is
where's my check?
Stupidity. This is the problem where when you look at some conspiracies, you think, oh, well, that applies to all things.
Yeah.
There's actually some things that are organic for some weird reason.
What I think we'll see, the first thing after the election is, we need a Joe Rogan on the left. We need a Joe Rogan. Well, guys, you basically had a Joe Rogan on the left, but you were so crazy that Joe started to think right.
They didn't want me. That was the thing. Like
they don't want you.
But that's all the psyop working against them, because in the past they could take someone like me and demonize them, and it would be effective, and they could just remove you from the airwaves,
right?
And then remove you as a problem because you're not playing by the rules. But now people go, oh, you know what? I think he's the one who's actually telling the truth. Let's stop listening to them. And so then CNN crashes, and then faith in mainstream media crashes, and faith in podcasts rises.
I think what we'll see, though, is, and it may come from YouTube, we'll probably see them try to hype someone up to become the Joe Rogan of the left.
Oh, they're already definitely doing that. But
who do
the
you
thing
think
is,
it is?
I don't care. Who gives a fuck? Let them try. But the thing is, it's not going to work unless that person's authentic. Because
without authenticity, it doesn't work.
If you hear a person long enough, you know what the fuck they're really saying. You know whether or not,
that's right.
You know, I'm wrong all the time. You might not agree with me. That's all great, but I'm not going to lie. And that's the difference. Yeah. And a lot of these people are just propagandists.
He is wrong a lot more than I am.
Trying to make an argument for something without looking at the other side, which instantaneously I know now you're propagandizing. Now you're not. Now you're bullshitting me. I always try to look at the other side of everything.
I know you do.
As a human, I think it's an important quality. As a person who's like broadcasting to millions of people, it's a very important quality. But it's an important quality for human beings. Like, know why you think about something.
Yeah. So there you go. What do you think?
I love it. It's true. It's his authenticity and his honesty on the air, and just willing to talk about, like, not just being so emotional about everything that you know. And they're talking about having someone on the left. It's like their positions are indefensible. There's no one who can go and represent what the left represents right now and be successful at it, because it's all insanity.
I don't know if Rogan will ever embrace this or not. It may take me going on his show, which will happen. And me pointing this out to him. But what happened, because he says they would have knocked somebody off there. What Rogan I don't think is completely appreciated is that Rogan picked up a mantle that Russia dropped when he died. But for 30 years, they didn't knock Rush off the air. For 30 years, they talked about how they need a Rush Limbaugh of the left.
You're correct.
They started talk radio networks, remember? They had a liberal talk. What was that thing called? Al Gore started his own liberal talk radio network. Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
I'll look it up. That's hilarious. This sounds familiar. It didn't go very far.
They had their own little ecosystem they were going to start, and this, that, and the other. And what Rogan's saying, though, is right, because this is what Russia, they can't do it because they're not authentic. It's not real. They're not honest. So he's 100% right about that. And so what happens is it's 2021 and Rush dies, and we're in the midst of COVID. And I mean, Rush was America's voice. And all of a sudden, everybody starts getting kicked off of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they start knocking, Facebook starts knocking people out, and Twitter starts knocking people out. And the one person, because he was big enough at that point, who couldn't be knocked out was Rogan. And Rogan, I think, probably always has been an honest, authentic guy. I think that when he says you got to look at both sides, I don't personally believe that. But I mean, here's what I think is, I think if you've spent your life learning about pursuing the truth and reality, that as you get older and as you get more mature, you should be able to recognize things faster. I can recognize right out of the gate certain topics, and I don't need to look at both sides. I know which side is the side of reality and the side of truth, because I've come to know truth and know reality. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So
I think I understand what Joe Rogan is saying, though. I think he's kind of not that it's funny. I'm not trying to be ironic and accuse him of lying, but I think he's saying the right thing. He's saying what he should be saying to his audience, and that is, I look at everything from all sides. Like, he's just saying it. But you know what? He's an opinionated guy. He knows where he stands on stuff.
Sure.
Now, has he been persuaded to, Has the needle moved for him with regard to politics? Yes, but it wasn't considering other sides. It's that the left went nuts.
Right.
And Trump came on the scene and offered, a life raft to America. And he just saw that for what it was.
Well, the left exposed themselves to everyone,
Yeah.
and they started in COVID. I shouldn't say they started in COVID, but it was on blast in COVID.
Yeah.
And so then all of these,
it was on full display.
Yeah, and so it was, holy cow, they censor, they lie, all of this. They're thieves. All they care about is killing people. All of these things start to percolate and I think Rogan's a smart guy. I think that it's interesting to me because I was a huge Rush fan, obviously. Everybody knows that. And I remember Rush talking about Rogan and about podcasts.
Oh,
because
interesting.
He never, at least at the time, he wasn't a believer in the idea that they would ever find a big enough audience and a big enough way to monetize themselves. He had concerns of that. Not that he didn't like the idea per se, just he didn't feel like it. I mean, Rogan at the time might have had 5 million listeners, and he said that's impressive. But of course, Rush had like 35. So
yeah,
I think he hadn't completely bought in. But all that means is that when Rush died, he hadn't seen, because it was right after he died. In fact, one could argue that it had a lot to do with Rush's passing, that the torch got passed from, because you got to remember when Rush started, it was in 1988.
Okay.
And he had a show before that for a few years in Sacramento, and it was a regional show in California. And then he got picked up and he got nationally syndicated in 1988. Well, at that point, if you remember, well, you may, because you're a little older than me, and you were actually in the radio industry, but AM radio was dead. AM radio was dead. Nobody listened to AM radio.
Yeah,
and Rush went on and he revitalized an entire, AM radio. Now, he did end up, it switched to digital and switched to FM later on, but he started on AM radio. And he developed an audience, the biggest audience in the world, became one of the most influential people in the world through AM radio. But what happened then, I think, and this is what's crazy to me, is that while, of course, we don't know what's going to happen, but God's working in the background, and God's got this podcasting thing going, and he's got Joe Rogan, and he's setting him up. And I happen to think, I look at Rogan, and I look at Trump, and I look at Musk, and to me, I just see this amazing, artistry and craziness that only God would do. And it's not that much different than a lot of what I read in the Old Testament or anything else. It's just like God chooses the most unlikely people, the most unlikely coalitions when he decides to start moving. And so,
and even when we recognize the potential coalition, the timing isn't what we thought it was going to be.
So then God has it all set up to where it shifts. I really think that Rogan has stepped into a mantle that Rush kind of had, as far as kind of more of a national type spokesman for, somebody. Now it's different. They're not exactly the same. And they never, of course it's different. They're different people. They're different shows. They're different, whatever. But
he's not exclusively political.
Right, and they had different backgrounds, and they came to things differently, and everything else. But that's fine. That's all part. That's all part of the fun.
Right.
Right.
I like that that talks about a variety.
An exact replica of Rush Part 2.
Definitely,
you know what
not.
I mean? So we got Rogan now, and Rogan, I will say, I think has been great. I do think he's honest. I do think he's authentic, and he's right that that's such a contrast to the mainstream media. It's a contrast to Washington, D.C. It's a contrast to these politicians. And so then what we've started to see throughout COVID and even now is that Rogan starts to draw people in, like a Jordan Peterson, these different types of people and individuals that probably wouldn't have been drawn in by the mainstream media because they're searching for truth. And so Rogan pulls them in, and you start to get this entire ecosphere of you start to get a shift towards authenticity within podcasts that was just not possible anywhere else because they weren't regulated.
Right.
And I think that's true about us. I hope that people look at us and feel like the one thing that Wildly Opinionated News Hour is at Todd's World is authentic.
True.
Like you're gonna get maybe a certain amount of crazy from me. My wife thinks every time I play her a clip, and she's like, "Oh my God, you sound like a racist."
I know, and I laugh not because I'm a racist, because I know that Todd actually is not a racist.
I told Nikki, I said it works perfect, like because Carrie softens me just the right amount where it's okay, and everybody can laugh at the racist jokes. She makes it okay.
I hope so. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not like I'm not enabling.
No,
on your racism.
I do think that Rogan's right on that. I think that it's that there's a shift going on. You know what I mean? And they had him, but they only had him because he hadn't gotten to where he needed to be in his growth as just a person and a thinking person. You know what I mean? So he was taken in. He's in Hollywood. He's living in LA. You know, I mean, he's just part of this entire culture that's all leftist. And so for him to grow like he has, pretty freaking phenomenal, I think. You know what I mean?
It is.
I didn't start out as a leftist. I was like raised on Rush Limbaugh, man. So I really don't feel like I've come that far. I'm just picking up what I can of Rush's mantle and going, because I think he was right about it all to begin with. Loved his show.
Right.
His
parodies. All the conspiracies are proving to be true.
The Magic Negro. He did. You probably don't. He had a song. God, we should play that song. It was
I'm already thinking it's a bad idea.
Well, what it was based on was in the LA Times. Soon after Barack was elected, they ran one of the op-ed commentators ran kind of a praising article of Obama, and he called him Barack the Magic Negro because he was able to accomplish things that blacks hadn't been able to. He was thought of as smart and articulate, whatever all these things were. There was this whole article that the LA Times.
Racist.
It was, but it was
so racist.
But it was the LA Times who did it.
I know, it's like LA Times. He's the only black man ever to do any of these things. It's like, what is wrong with these people?
So then Rush.
Unbelievable.
You know, one of the best things he had was Paul Shanklin was the guy who he did Rush's parodies. He did a lot of Rush's parodies. And Rush's, if you listen to Rush's show, his parodies were some of the best stuff out there. Here it is. You're going to love this. Our audience is going to love. This is a parody that was on Rush's show. When was Barack elected? 2008? So this would have been like 2009.
Barack, the Magic Negro, lives in D.C. The LA Times, they call him that cause he's not authentic like me.
That's Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton singing it.
Make guilty whites feel good.
With his bullhorn.
And not for me cause he's not from the hood. See real black men like Snoop Dogg or me or Farrakhan have talked the talk and walked the walk, not coming late and won. Oh, Barack, the Magic Negro.
This is the greatest thing you've ever heard.
The LA Times, they call him that cause he's black but not authentically. Barack,
but not authentically? Oh my gosh.
Lives in D.C. The LA Times, they called him that cause he's black but not authentically. Some say Barack's articulate and bright and new and clean.
So awful.
Sure love this guy.
I think that was Biden who said that about Obama. He was bright and clean.
Yeah, he said he was clean and articulate. I'm like, what?
Don't be fooled. Don't vote the Magic Negro in. Cause I won't have nothing after all these years of sacrifice. But I won't get justice. This is about justice. This is about justice.
I can't believe Biden lived that down. I really can't. Musty money.
So that was
Musty money.
That was Rush. That was Paul Shanklin did that for Rush. Amazing. Just
that's
back
incredible.
from the day. He was amazing.
Wow.
Hopefully we don't get sued by Paul Shanklin.
Maybe I'm only full credit.
Supposed to play like 30 seconds. I don't know. I don't know any of the rules.
Oh, sorry. We don't. We're off the grid still. Our million listeners aren't going to rat us out.
Do you know that I played that song for my girls when they were like, I taught it to them when they were like probably 3, 5, and 7. So like 3-year-old Kate used to go around singing that. It was so like the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
It's so bad. Oh my gosh.
It's so great though. It's so right that if you went back to that time, that's how they were thinking.
I know.
Like Jesse Jackson and all these people were like, I mean, this guy, I guess he's kind of black, but they didn't think of him as all that black. You know what I mean?
Right.
He just.
I wonder if they thought Big Mike was black.
I don't know. I don't think Big Mike got the scrutiny that she deserves.
Yeah. I know. Apparently now we're very aware of that.
So anyway, I think that about Rogan. Yeah. I think that Rogan has picked up Rush's mantle, and I think Rogan's doing a good job. I think he's honest. He does look at both sides. He's willing to delve into conspiracy theories. Really, that he's more willing to delve into that kind of thing than Rush ever was, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say he may have picked up a mantle, but he also is.
Oh, he's his own thing.
He's his own. Yeah, definitely.
And he's great at what he does.
He is, and
when
he's
I say
great
he picked up a mantle, I almost mean like his a role that he's functioning as in our media and in our culture. Definitely. Not that they're definitely not the same at all.
I really love that though, that role that he's playing, and it just was unexpected. I feel like it happened simply because he interviewed J.D. Vance and Donald Trump in the campaign. I think that's what did it.
Yeah.
It was like this turning point in his show, in his influence in America and in politics. Right. And I mean, it's great. If you go back and listen, you're right about the conspiracy stuff. He's willing to talk about crazy shit.
And a lot of it's still like, you look and you think, maybe it's true about aliens. I don't know.
I know.
Who knows what's going on?
You wonder.
I mean, I don't. I think he does a great job. But I think he's right that it's all about honesty and authenticity. I just think that's true. I think that's why Trump is as successful as he is because he's honest and authentic.
Yeah, absolutely. So good.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's great. We'll go out on Kid Rock, Bill Maher. How about that?
Oh, nice.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
Is Bill Maher?
Bill Maher is interviewing Kid Rock, and it's a little bit unifying. Really, you'll be surprised. It is a little unifying. Maybe we'll end the show on a unifying note.
Nice. Well, Bill Maher's
your musky moo moo. Do you support these onesies? I had somewhere a Bernie Sanders clip, another one, but it wasn't as good as. Do you support these onesies?
It was so funny.
I keep expecting him to have more printed up onesies that he hauls around like the halls of Congress. It'd be like anti-DOGE onesies. And do you support these onesies?
Waving them around.
What happened to the onesies? So this is Bill Maher interviewing Kid Rock.
Okay. On the bringing people together part. I mean, you have a song called My Kind of Country. My kind of country has room for Trump and a JFK. That's the first line. Right?
Had I known, I would have said RFK.
Is that the last Democrat you liked?
No, I mean, my whole business is Democrats. I mean, so to speak. Not my whole business. I live in Nashville now, but.
Whoops, sorry.
That's the world I've operated for years and years. I mean, half my band's, liberal, or gay, or black, or this. Like, it's like. We have one of the most diverse bands out there, not because of any of this DI shit, just because they're the best at what they do, and we all love each other and get along.
Bill Maher's crowd clapping to that. I love it.
And I mean, you played the inauguration. Didn't Nelly and Snoop play that too?
Yeah, I believe they did. But remember, I also played Barack Obama's inauguration.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
I didn't vote for him. I played for him at the Kennedy Center. You know, this, that, and the other. I'm like, everybody's just got to calm the fuck down a little bit. You know what I mean?
There you go. What a way to end.
That's
but
great.
It's just got to calm down a little bit. I had another Kid Rock Bill Maher one, and I just don't know what happened to it. It didn't. Some of those where it didn't come through. I guess I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we've all just got to get together.
We do.
That's what they're trying to say, right, Carrie? That's what Todd's World's all about. It's all about bringing people together.
Yes, we are especially unifying.
And we're trying to expose people to truth and reality. Mm-hmm. Listen, guys, tell people about us if you haven't. Get on, please. Share us on social media, Twitter, X, Instagram. Mm-hmm. Man, I hate TikTok. If you knew how much I hate TikTok. God, I hate TikTok.
I think TikTok is shutting down your stuff just because you keep talking about how much you hate them.
Oh, I hate them. I swear to God, I put that clip up this week, and it had the greatest stats. 1 out of 7 people are liking it. It shoots up to 800 people. People are sharing it. People are doing everything
instantly. Yep.
And they instantly cut it down. Boom. And in the 3 days since then, it's had 20 views, and even out of that, it still gets 4 or 5 likes and an extra reshares. Mm-hmm. It's just, and it's not even that big of a deal. Nothing.
Yeah, was that the one that said it was
violent
or gory or something?
That was a different one. Oh, and I think that was only because I spelled out balls. I said normalize big balls. And instead of doing B with a star and an L and a Z.
And a Z, but still.
I think I
don't think it's that big a deal. It wasn't violent or gory.
No, not at all.
Regardless, but everyone,
just shut me
the
down.
last 2 weeks, people have been sharing a lot and talking online a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're seeing the numbers too, and that's how we're going to grow, and you guys are going to grow with us.
I love it.
We're going to take over for Joe Rogan because somebody has to,
or at least.
And I'm not going to look at any other sides at all.
Or
I don't care about the other side.
I've figured it all out. I will not be moved. At the very least, maybe go on his show. That would be great.
Oh, Rogan's awesome. Yeah,
I know. We love him.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today, Carrie. It's fun.
Good to see you.
Fun little outing into Todd's world. See what's going on in the world.
It's always fun here.
And hey, there's so much winning. All we try to do is
winning is good.
We're here to for history and for posterity's sake, to record the winning.
We made it through the campaign stress and the pre-election torture. I mean, now it's like Christmas every day.
Get on your Spotify app on your smart TV and bring us up big as life on your television, everyone.
I don't know. I have to pay more attention to my makeup.
Because I didn't eat a meat stick on air today.
What?
I didn't eat a meat stick on air today.
Oh, that's true.
And I kept my smoking to a manageable level, I felt like.
I thought so. And I'm not drinking anything yet because it's morning.
We're waiting to get to Beers with Jesus to really hit the drinking and the smoking. We like to keep things appropriate. Right. By the way, join us for Beers with Jesus tomorrow. It's dropping. Yes. It's not your typical religious Jesus thing. Was that fair, Carrie?
That's fair.
Yeah. I think we try to do it a little different. That doesn't mean that we don't get into it and that we're not fair and honest with it.
We aren't disrespectful. Just
it's not a preaching thing.
No.
And this week's, it could be a little heavy because it's about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. And you know what? That's the kind of show it is. We explore the story. We don't shy away from the hard parts because we don't have the choice to fast forward through the hard parts of our lives. So I think that
Amen to that.
So anyway, join us for that if you aren't. Thank you for joining us today, guys. Come back next week. Tell your friends.
Yes, please.
Get on and share some clips off the socials if you would. It's either at Todd's World or Todd's World 2023. If you want to get on Facebook, you can just look me up under Todd Allen because I post almost nothing. Both Facebook and Instagram, I do under my personal accounts. I do have Todd's World accounts, but I don't do anything with them. So I'm not sure what the point is.
Oh, and try posting them on TikTok and let us know if you get further with them.
I hate TikTok. I thought we were shutting TikTok down.
TikTok
what in
will
the
stay.
hell, Trump? Here they are, still censoring me.
I don't know where else I would get my fabulous kitten videos, so I don't want TikTok to go anywhere.
TikTok. I showed that to the girls, and they're just like, I don't even know why you post on TikTok. I'm like, I post because Carrie likes me to. And she believes...
It's the easiest place for me to share from.
She believes that it matters. She likes to watch me get beat down by them.
I actually want to see
I'm like Barack.
How are we
every Wednesday night from Big Mike, and I just get to take it for a half hour from TikTok.
Do you think Barack is a bottom?
100%. 100% for the record.
Oh, no.
If he's with Jennifer Aniston has some paraphernalia that she's wearing for the ride, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, you can't get that just anywhere.
You really can't.
She brings her friends along.
I don't know. If people hung in this long, they're going to be like, oh.
Look who I brought tonight, Barack. Ooh.
I call it the Al Sharpton.
With her bullhorn.
Oh my gosh, we have really
this is what should keep people all the way to the end, because sometimes the end is the best on Todd's World. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.